Peace be with you. I'm Pastor Stephen Gjerde at Zion Lutheran Church, and this is Picture Time, a time when we look at beautiful works of art in order to reacquaint ourselves or revisit the lesson that the Sunday school children looked at this past Sunday. Now, usually I just show you one picture. This week I'm going to show you two pictures, and they're two very different kinds of pictures, but they tell us, each of these pictures, something very different about our Sunday school lesson for the week. And that Sunday school lesson is the golden calf. When Moses brought the people of Israel out of Egypt, he led them into the desert. Out there in the desert, he met God on a mountain, Mount Sinai, where God gave him the 10 Commandments. And while he was up on top of that mountain getting the 10 Commandments, and not just the 10 Commandments, but all the rules God was giving the people of Israel to tell them how to live, the people of Israel were down at the bottom of the mountain committing a great sin, doing something very bad. They were worshiping a false god. To worship a false god, that is to believe in and to sing to and praise and treat as though he's real, a God who is not real, is called idolatry. And the first picture we have to tell us about this story is a picture by a man named Nicolas Poussin, who painted this picture in 1629. And so he painted this picture almost 400 years ago. It is a picture of the golden calf getting worshipped by the people of Israel. And as you look at it, you can see the golden calf right there. The golden calf has been built, this statue of a cow, made out of gold, has been built on top of a big block of stone right here. And here we see all the people of Israel, or a group of people representing the people of Israel, coming forward to worship the golden calf. And you'll even see a mother bringing her child there to worship the golden calf. And that really shows us just how horrible this sin was, that they were not only worshiping a false god, they're teaching even their littlest children to worship this false god. At the bottom of the statue, you can see some of the leftover gold things that were used to be melted down to build the calf made out of gold. And we see men and women and older folks and younger folks all coming forward to worship what is truly not God. But also, what do we see in this picture? If you look very closely, right back there, we see Moses getting the 10 Commandments, the law of God from the true God in the background, reminding us that help is on its way. Pretty soon, God's servant Moses will come and lead the people of Israel away from worshiping this false god back to the truth. And that's something to always remember, that God has promised to always work in this world for the sake of bringing his people back to the truth, even when we sin and go away, even if we do something horrible like worshiping a false god. God has messengers and servants that he sends to bring us back to the truth, and the greatest one, the one who outshines them all, is Jesus Christ, who isn't just a servant of God. He is God. He is God the Son. He came, died, rose for us in order to save us from our sins. Now, the second picture is very different from the first picture. Remember, take another look at this first picture. Here it kind of looks real, doesn't it? We have people who look like real people, a statue that looks like a real statue, trees that look like real trees, and now I have a really different picture. This is by a modern artist named Hans-Peter Flepp. I think that's Dutch, but I don't know. And he painted this. Whoa, isn't that different? It's the same thing. That is, it's the same story. The people of Israel dancing around and worshiping the golden calf. But look how different it is. So here are the people of Israel, and they're painted in all different colors. And there's the golden calf. You can kind of see a cow's face right there in gold with ears and legs. And so the people of Israel are dancing around a golden calf, but what else do we see? Well, what we also see are these strange faces, sort of they almost look like aliens, or maybe they look like devils or demons. We have one and another one here, so 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this sort of strange one, which I'll talk about in a moment, number 6. We have these strange faces also looking on the Israelites as they dance around the golden calf. Well, I think that's telling us something. It's telling us that there was more there than an eye could see. That whenever we are tricked into worshiping a God who is not the true God, there are other forces at work. There's the devil at work, the devil and his demons. And so these, to me, represent the devil and his demons who could not be seen by the eye, but who were smiling and happy when God's people sinned and started worshiping a false god. But now look at this strange picture here. This face, it's kind of a face, is not happy, is it? And is it really a face? Here we have sort of an arched shape here and another arched shape here, as though there's a man here holding 2 tablets of stone. Remember in the first picture, we have Moses receiving tablets of stone from God with the law on it. I kind of just wonder if this part of the picture doesn't remind us of Moses and the stone tablets also, and remind us also that help is on its way. And in fact, it's in this part of the picture that we really notice this tree here, right? And you know what? The Bible sometimes calls the cross that Jesus died on the tree of the cross. And so there's maybe a reminder here about even how Jesus saves us from our sin and from the power of the devil. So 2 very different pictures, 2 very colorful pictures, both of them sort of there. You can kind of see me and the pictures. 2 very different kinds of pictures, but telling us the same story, reminding us that we also have hearts that will sometimes trust in things that aren't God or worship things that aren't God. But God doesn't leave us alone in that sin. He acts in order to deliver us from that sin and bring us to the true God once more. God's peace be with you. That's picture time for this week, and I'll see you next week.